Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to cover about the eBay summer update for 2018. So this is especially for dropshipper that's doing dropshipping on eBay. So some of the points I'll cover today, they are how to optimize your inventory and how shipping zip code will affect you in the recent update, and how do you use the new markdown sales rule that's going to affect your store, plus how to use the automated return policy. So how this policy can help you, or it can actually affect your return policy with the buyer. So first of all, you need to ask yourself the question, why do you need to put your item in the correct eBay category? Well, in the first place, eBay have already stated to you in early spring update that they're going to do this eBay buy box, so meaning that you group together all the similar inventory and put it into one listing. So they are going to carry out this plan by putting all the same item into one listing. So if your item listing is actually having a lot of sales, or it's a brand new item, you get to be in the buy box first. So eBay suggested categories. Now this will be implemented somewhere in the mid of August. This feature is going to be implemented. It's going to help you to suggest the nearest or the closest category that's being suggested by eBay. You have to use this suggested categories to ensure that your listing is still visible during the search. You also need to check your active listing for products that require updates. Now when I mean by updates is that if you go into your all active listing, you can see that there's actually two tabs. Now the second tab that says requires product updates means that there are numbers of listings that require your attention. It's either you need to change the item specific, or you need to change the categories, etc. So you need to check this regularly, at least for the whole of this August month, so that you are in line with the eBay policy. And if you were to get a selling restriction due to the wrong product categorization, or they call it miscategorization, and they actually restrict you for selling like 3 to 7 days, what I suggest you to do is to call them immediately and tell them that, you know, this is the first time, or if it's the first time they're getting this issue, you can actually ask them to help you to remove these restrictions. Now do this and you can start the list again. So this is one of the solution if you were to encounter miscategorization issues. So move on to the second part of how to optimize your inventory. Now item specific are now very important and required to be updated. If you already have item specific that is, you know, covering the products, and the products already have enough item specific, so you don't need to actually add on more. But if you have some changes to your products, the item specific need to be added, or you only have very few, I would suggest you add more, due to the fact that eBay now is basing on the customer search term, which can be found in item specific. Now the buyer experience now is very much based on your product descriptions. Now you can say that you can easily get the products description or features from Amazon or from any other seller. Now eBay want to create a buying experience for the buyer, so you need to actually provide good product descriptions. So no need to crack your head over it. You can actually look at some of the products, similar product that's selling that's outside eBay, how they describe the products, and you can just modify from there. Now wrong categorization I mentioned earlier is that due to the fact that if you categorize it wrongly, it's either you get a selling restriction banned by eBay, or your product totally will not show at all as a search result. So this is very important, that go and check your listing for products, for listing which is in the wrong category, and change it as soon as possible. Now you also can do one thing, that is to check your view count daily on products that's listed for the previous day for this month. This is due to the fact that, you know, if your products are not getting view counts, means there's something wrong with your listing, means it is not showing at all in the search result on eBay, and means that buyer can never find your product. Now there's another new policy that eBay implement, is that they require to put in the zip code. And how does this zip code affects you? Now you can see that if your supplier is actually located in US at a specific location, you need to put in the zip code. Now before the August, you do not need to do this. After the August 1st, you actually need to put in a zip code if your supplier is located at a specific location and ship out the item. So eBay actually want to track your delivery timing, how fast or how slow you are. And if you use Amazon, there's no need to put in any zip code due to the fact that you know that Amazon have across the whole of USA, and that's actually not possible to put in the zip code or specific zip code at all. So you're a dropshipper, so this will not affect you. And if you're using AliExpress, again, there's only put in zip code due to the fact that item is located outside of USA. Just make sure that you know the rules now and make sure you make the changes accordingly. The second part I would like to cover is on the zip code that actually eBay wants you to provide, which is the tracking ID. You must provide a trackable tracking ID. Now if you are dropshipping from Amazon, you know that Amazon actually are using their own carrier, which is the Amazon Logistic US, and you are actually faced with some issues. If a buyer were to report that they didn't receive your item, what should you do? So there is actually this service called the aftership.com, and I believe that they're testing on the beta right now on tracking AMZL, Amazon Logistic tracking number. So you can actually put in the tracking number from Amazon, and this service is supposed to generate out the tracking history. So where is the parcel now, and did your buyer actually receive it in the end? So why do we need this? When the buyer log a case against you on item not received, you can show the proof that actually the product actually reached the buyer house or at the doorstep. So we also understand that Amazon now start to provide pictures of the item actually being left at the doorstep of the customer. Using these two proof, you can actually fight your case and win the case, provided that the aftership.com is delivering what we needed to show eBay to fight for the case. So automatic updates of tracking number is actually optional. If you are doing manually, it's good. However, if you have too many orders, I would suggest you to use the service called Tracking Pigeon. You have to do it. So Tracking Pigeon basically look through your Gmail and look for all the orders that are being sent out from Amazon. Yeah, only with Amazon, and they'll auto take this tracking number and input it automatically onto the eBay store for you for the item, and the buyer will receive an email. So this is how it actually can help you save time. So if you're interested, you can check out the link below this video. I'll leave the links for you if you decided to try this out. So another thing that eBay implements is the new Markdown sales rule. So your item basically now need to be on sale for 14 days before you can do any markdown sale. This is to prevent sellers from marking down the products from day one, and they're selling it at discount, and everyone is doing it this discount, and it doesn't make sense for sellers that actually is selling this product for a long period of time. So they wanted to only do sales during certain holidays or during certain festive celebrations. So with this new rule in place, basically you're looking at 2 weeks of item sales to be generated before you can start to run the markdown sale. So if you are doing 2-day free shipping or combined sales for faster shipping, it will not affect you in any way. However, if you are going to do a markdown sale, please take note of this. So there's also some new features on the performance tab that we have been waiting for. So the first one is the sales report, which they going to categorize on the sales report on your promoted listing and what's actually sold, because for right now we are unable to see what is being sold. Only you get a number like 20 sold and X amount of revenue generated, and you also get the traffic reports to look at where the traffic is coming from. So the last part is the auto return policy. So this is the one that will affect a lot of seller. If you are going to actually purchase the product first, this actually will affect a lot of people that's doing it Amazon, the dropship, getting products from Amazon to dropship to eBay. With the new policy that's in place, now there is only 30 days return and 60-day returns. So no more 14 days return policy. They're going to standardize it to 30 days or 60 days. So the automatic return policy, if you set up the buyer for auto refund, it's going to take in the parameters that you set. For example, the item arrived damaged, the item arrived with missing parts, etc. You can actually set this return policy inside your eBay store under return preferences. So this basically why eBay is doing this is that so that you can provide a faster refunds back to the buyer, and at the same time do auto email to the buyer on where to ship the product. So you are not comfortable with this, I would suggest that you play this feature first before setting everything up, or you can just test like for a few days to see what happens. But for dropshipper, I would suggest that we don't turn on this feature. There's another feature that you need to turn on, so which is the RMA option to opt out of the auto return policy. Yeah, so the RMA basically refers to the return merchandise authorization, where you need to give in the tracking label to the buyer before you can automate the return of the item back to the Amazon warehouse. You can also do both, whereby you combine some of the automation plus the option of the RMA. So you can combine both settings and apply it onto your store. So you can actually go to the return preferences. Return preferences that is inside your store, and create the basic rules for return. Or if you do not want to turn on this feature, you can turn on the RMA, and this will give you the option to put in the RMA, which is the shipping label, before the customer ship back to you. So I understand that sometimes your default shipping address is actually your home address, or it could be the Amazon warehouse address, which you do not want, and because you do not know which warehouse to return to. So once you turn on this feature, make sure that you be very careful and make sure that the buyer don't ship it to an address that no one's attending to. So if you want to find out more about the seller updates for 2018, you can refer to the URL below. Most important updates that you need to know as a dropshipper. So I hope that this video is useful to you. Do subscribe and like and share these videos to other dropshipper that they have not really understand what's going on for them. So this is going to impact them in the near future. So I'll see you in the next video.